Boy, oh boy, have we had a great time. I've had to spend time with, or got to spend time with Dr. Westman. We started off at the Metabolic Health Summit in Long Beach, which was absolutely fantastic. We just finished an ADAPT event in Nashville, Tennessee. And today we're going to be talking about the future of keto. And let's hear what Dr. Westman has to think or say about the future of keto.
Well, the idea of low-carb diets have been around a long time. 1863 in London, England. But since I've been in this field, this space, for the last 20 years, there was a blip for low-carb in 2003 when the science was first coming out. And then Dr. Atkins died, and then the blip went away.
Can I ask a question before that blip came up, as you said, before 2003, because Dr. Atkins was quite vocal and outspoken about this for a number of years before that, right?
Right.
So did you see a progression up until 2003? Was kind of like a natural progression? Or?
No, there was an undercurrent, or people, a few doctors using the keto approach, low carb, Atkins, and it had just still stayed sort of behind the scenes.
Okay.
Still out of the pop culture. No, it was very controversial. In 1998, when I visited Dr. Atkins, I didn't realize how badly people thought about him. And so in 2003 what happened is the science started to come out. There were several studies, one by Jeff Volek, who's now at Ohio State, and one by the Duke group, Will Yancey and myself. And it was that solid science in high-level peer-reviewed journals that kind of took it out a notch. There were companies that started. There was a fair in Washington, D.C. with new companies, and then it went away. So it really, I guess it was kind of like this, but today we have this.
So would you attribute that back in 2003 the science was not quite there yet?
Well, it was in the infancy.
Right.
So it was really like the first newsworthy stuff.
Okay.
And now it's 20 years later, and it's old news that low-carb diets are better than low-fat diets. I mean,
right.
It's like the score is 30-0 in head-to-head trials. So I think what's happening now is that there's a solid science base, so that the rise of keto is on that rise of the science being solid now.
Would you say that is also a marrying of the science and social media? So now the gatekeepers, so to speak, the people that used to keep this information at bay, is no longer an issue. They're not in charge anymore. So would you say that social media has played a role, or a pivotal role, in this explosion into
Absolutely.
the keto lifestyle as well?
Yeah.
And so let's talk about, you've been doing this for 20 years now, right? And of course there's a lot of new people that have come in, into the space, but you've been here for the long haul. What do you see as the future? So it is exploding. Everyone is talking about it. You've even got controversial, the Jillian debate and Dylan Michaels. And what do you see the future? So from here on out, what do you see as what's going to happen?
Well, the science is solid, but a lot of people still don't know about it. There's a lot of education to be done still. But in the pop culture being a reflection of the science, recently there was an exercise guru who called out keto as being bad, but then there was someone at that level of celebrity, Al Roker, who said no, actually there's science behind it, and you should talk to your doctor about doing it. It might be a valid approach. I mean, just that there's now that pushback at the celebrity level, and more and more celebrities are doing it, and they're coming out and talking about it, helps to solidify. The world doesn't change by my study in the Annals of Internal Medicine.
Right.
The world changes by that filtering out through the social media, through celebrities, through football players and basketball players, and also through new companies. So what we've seen is an explosion in popularity and new companies using keto techniques. And what's great about it is that it's robust. It works so well, and most of the time using real food. Of course, it's our approach.
Right.
We want to use real foods, but I think there needs to be corporate money behind the keto approach in order for it to maintain. So
Right.
I can't predict the future. We've seen people come and go. It's kind of like as fast as they come on the scene, that's how fast they leave the scene. And but we need more people doing it. More and more doctors are being vocal about it. More and more organizations are endorsing it. So I think it's pretty exciting. What do you think the future will hold?
Well, I think that the defining difference between, let's say, a keto diet, and I'm not going to single out any other diets, everyone kind of has this idea that diets are a fad. So what's the new fad for this year or 2 years, etc., etc. I think that there's the fundamental difference is that the keto diet or the low-carb diet has solid science. I mean, it goes back, like you said, to treating childhood epilepsy over 100 years ago, and they used to treat type 2 diabetes many, many years ago. So this isn't something that's that I would believe is a fad. Maybe
that's the only fad that never goes away, which
Right.
means it's not a fad.
So for example, if you can honestly and successfully treat metabolic conditions by using this method, how could that be considered a fad? I think that the fad part of it could potentially go away and a new kind of program come in, and that's just to the people that are not metabolically broken, that don't have metabolic issues, that are just simply following the latest fad, not necessarily trying to get better or get well or to combat obesity, etc., etc. So I think for those people, the keto diet, the low carb diet is never going away. The science is that good and that solid. But in terms of celebrities, for example, is it always going to be the keto diet? Probably not. So I think that there may be a falling away of the mainstream popularity of a keto diet. But I think in terms of treating diabetes and other metabolic conditions, I don't think it's going to go away.
Well, and part of the confusion is that if you don't have insulin resistance or carbohydrate intolerance, any reasonable diet will work.
Right.
But in the 2/3 of people who have this metabolic issue, they have to keep the carbs low. It's actually, in some way, it doesn't have to be keto.
Right.
And so that's one big difference of the scientific approach being what we base this on, is because the scientists will say there are lots of ways to do this.
Right.
This isn't the only way.
Right.
So beware for those people who say theirs is the only way, because that's not scientific.
Okay.
It's more promotion
Right.
than science-based.
Right.
And I'm grateful that the researchers and the promoters, for the most part in the keto world, don't proselytize. They don't preach that everyone has to do it.
Right.
Because there are lots of ways to go about it. But I almost kind of feel like we've come up with a new kind of computer, an operating system, and we're competing with a low-fat diet computer, but we don't have to convince low-fat people to do low-carb.
Right.
We just have to let people be aware of this new style
Right.
of computer that works fine.
But over and above that, you have been using this successfully in your clinic. How many years now?
Well, in the clinic, 12 years, and before that, about 8 years of research.
Okay.
So 20 years total.
You treat mostly folks that have metabolic issues, right?
Sure, obesity, metabolic syndrome, diabetes, but also people who just want to lose weight.
Okay. And do you have a good success rate in terms of?
Well, it's pretty much 100% if you do it. I mean, so if you take the pill, it works, right?
Right.
So the battle or the struggle is to teach people how to make it fit in their lifestyle.
And to make it a lifestyle rather than just a diet.
Right.
Okay. Well, I think that is great information. I certainly think that the keto diet is here to stay. Very excited about the popularity of this diet. And every year it seems to grow bigger and bigger. So, we hope that in the next couple of years, the majority of people, you go to the store and you speak about keto and they know what we're talking about.
Well, the taxi driver here knew all about keto.
Right.
A
A short while ago, that wasn't the case.
No, that's right.
Well, that's excellent. So here's to keto staying around for as long as possible.
Thank you.